Zuckerberg writing in a letter to Congressman Jim Jordan in 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Zuckerberg says after enough bullying from the Biden administration that Facebook finally complied. Zuckerberg also says, ironically, the FBI was spreading and even mandating actual misinformation on Facebook just before the New York Post Hunter Biden laptop story popped. It was a tale that he told on Joe Rogan's podcast. Take a listen.
The FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert. We thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant.
Yeah, the FBI knew that the very true Hunter Biden allegations were about to come out and was telling them, hey, be careful because there's going to be a lot of misinformation. That's your FBI. A government that never shuts up about disinformation used disinformation to get into power. The irony. In truth, Mark Zuckerberg was a free speech absolutist like all real Americans until the cancel culture NGOs came for him. The same kinds of groups that are trying to bankrupt Newsmax or any organization that doesn't push the approved leftist narratives, well, they came for Facebook as well. And Zuckerberg bent to all that pressure and the pressure from our government. The harsh reality is the price of freedom is indeed constant vigilance. Those claiming that they want to protect people's feelings or stop misinformation and lies, of course, are corrupted very fast by that power, and pretty soon they move over to censoring anything that might threaten their power. It's a tale as old as time. It happens every single time. Congressman James Comer joins us now, and I want to start with Zuckerberg, a pretty incredible admission that just it's so powerful when you think about the last election.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, several factors could be at play as to why he's coming forward now. Number one, there could be a whistleblower that's about to expose this. Number two, he may see the writing on the wall that there's a potential of a Republican administration that's going to come in and get to the truth one way or the other. Or thirdly, he may be sending a warning sign to Kamala Harris, who he views would be even more abusive to a company like Facebook and require even more censorship of conservatives. So, you know, I'm glad that Zuckerberg's come forward now, but at the end of the day, there needs to be accountability for the government officials who actually were in charge of forcing Facebook to censor conservative speech, especially stories like the Hunter Biden laptop story, when they knew all along it was true. So what the next steps will be for Zuckerberg and the Facebook executives to identify the specific people with the FBI and the specific people in the Biden-Harris administration who were insisting that they not only censor conservatives, but be dishonest with their platform.
You know, people, they talk all the time about all of these things that we face and issues and these existential threats like climate change. I mean, the real threat that we face is tyranny. We're watching as the power centers in the West are increasingly insatiable when it comes to power. They want more and more and more. They don't want to relinquish it for any period of time. They want it perpetually. That is the threat that we face. And this is just a small indication. We're seeing it in Europe. We're seeing it here. We're seeing, and it's just the natural progression of politics. This is a problem the world has always had, is somehow keeping freedom in a world where everybody wants to control and where everybody wants power. Most of the world does not live free, and there's a reason for that. Take a listen to Alejandro Mayorkas perjuring himself when talking about this topic a couple years ago with Josh Hawley while under oath.
Pressuring, coercing social media companies to engage in censorship. Is that constitutional?
It is unequivocally false, Senator.
You are leveraging private companies to carry out censorship on your behalf. It's dystopian, but worse than that, it's unconstitutional.
It's also false.
I mean, what else is there? I mean, either he's going to act like he didn't see it and had no idea, or he's lying.
Yeah, look, I mean, we impeached Mayorkas, and the Senate didn't even have the hearing like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
The disgraces from this Biden-Harris administration with respect to our civil liberties, our freedom, the Constitution, and all of this is on the ballot. Democracy is on the ballot, and I hope the American people are paying attention, because what you have here with what Zuckerberg's come forward with is enormous, because this is a guy that we all know leans left. I mean, I don't know how he's registered, but I would be shocked if he weren't a Democrat and hasn't always voted Democrat. But at the end of the day, he is coming out saying the same thing that Elon Musk said when he purchased Twitter. Look, our government was telling us what we could and could not do. And they knew all along some of the stuff they were telling us was dishonest. So, I hope that with this new era where we get more of our news from social media, that the Democrats don't try to go in there and take over social media like they have the mainstream media. Yeah. It's hard for companies like Newsmax and conservative outlets to come up on the social media front, because there's so much domination by Facebook and Twitter. So God bless Elon Musk, and hopefully we can get the names of the people in the government that did this.
Yeah, I mean, and you make a point. I mean, it's very hard for conservative media to survive in the landscape. I mean, that's why we're out there selling stock and trying. I mean, it's very hard. We can't. Advertising is very tough. They've figured out a way to just basically bully everyone into not advertising with us, and all these spineless corporations in this country just bend to it because they don't want to deal with the problem. So they throw. You can find any commercial you could ever imagine on crappy left-wing channels, but it's very hard for us to survive. They don't want us to survive, and that's really scary. Congressman, thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.